So, welcome everybody to the 5th BME Early Career Researcher Conference, and our theme is Moving On Up. My name is Dr. Bernadine Idowu-Onibokun, and I am the founder of this conference. So, a brief overview. Why is this conference needed? I'll touch on the previous yearly conferences we have done. I need to share some impact and testimonials, what you'll expect today. Need to give some appreciations, and then I'll end off by telling you something which is hot off the press. So why is this conference needed? Well, we all know the underrepresentation of BME early career researchers at lecturer level. Now, if we do not make the transition from a postdoctoral researcher to a lecturer, then we will not be able to increase the numbers or the percentages of professors in the UK. But what do we need to ensure? We need to ensure we are empowered. We empower ourselves with the skills, the support, the network, the confidence to remain in academia. Very, very important. Okay. Right. So previous conferences. So the very, very first conference was conducted April 27 when I was at King's College, London. And this was under my then line manager, Debbie Epstein. How did it come about? Well, I am a scientist, and I'm the type of person that if I see that I can make a difference, if I can influence something or somebody or a group, I will be that person. So we had a teachers away day conference. And there was the then principal of King's College London, Sir Ed Byrne. And he sat on the panel listening to, on that occasion, students' experience. And I just felt moved to talk to him. When he was leaving, I approached him and I said, since graduating at King's, I haven't seen an increase in BME scientists, female scientists. And he said to me, that does concern me. To cut a long story short, he organized for me, with using his own budget, for me to work part-time in diversity and inclusion. And one of my several projects to do with race was to understand the issues of postdoctoral researchers. And I was tasked to think about something that I could encourage more BME people to feel as though they can make that transition to become lecturers and then move up the ladder. So that's how it all started briefly. Then in 2008, again, it was hosted at King's, this time not by the diversity and inclusion team, but by me reaching out to Wellcome Trust, the Centre for Research Staff Development at King's, and the Royal Society of Chemistry. And they provided the budget for me to do the second conference. The third conference was hosted by University of East London by Professor Marcia Wilson. I'll talk a little bit about that later. And the last conference last year was hosted by Professor Stephen Curry from Imperial College, and it was our first virtual conference. So some of you may have seen the promotional video that Open University helped put together through the able help of Heidi. And there was just a few, first of all, I'd like to thank all the speakers that featured on that promotional video. And there was something that I picked up from each and every one of them. So something Professor Marcia Wilson said, which is a lot, but for me, what touched me was making the invisible visible. Dr. Ada Mao, she's talked about having a space for BME early career researchers to come together. Dr. Amara Anyogu talked about the importance of expanding your network. Dr. Prashant Rukana talked about how the conference helped guide him along his academic journey. And Dr. Donald Palmer shared ideas and said it was very important to celebrate the amazing achievements of BME people in academia. So definitely we can succeed. So I'm just going to quickly share some evaluation from the yearly feedback questionnaire we've had. Now, just looking at the bars, the blue one refers to 2017, orange 2018, grey 2019, and the green bar 2020. We ask similar questions every year because we want to see what's working and what's not. So one of the first questions we ask, this is just a fraction of the questions. I asked, has the conference met your expectations? Now, I'm very, very proud to say over the years, it's always been 90% and above. My second question was, has the conference increased your confidence to stay in academia? And I'm proud to say over the years, it's always been a minimum of 80% or above. So that's good. We're doing something right. Then another question I asked was, are you gaining a better understanding of what you need to do to remain in academia? Now, you'll notice in 2017, it was very low. We just started out, it was a pilot, we didn't know what to expect. But as we move along the years, we see that things have increased or improved, meaning that we are getting the message across. Yes, there's a little bit of a dip, but hopefully today you will get as much information needed from the various speakers as to what you need to do to remain in academia. So let's look over the testimonies over the years. I need to read these out. Just be patient with me. And this is just a fraction again. There's so many. It's actually overwhelming reading the effect these conferences have on the delegates. I've been attending conferences for over 30 years, but this is the one that inspired me to continue. Now, I remember that from 2017, the very, very first conference. Then someone said later on, it was a relief to have what felt like a private, personal failing identified, named, and reframed. Another person said the description of the speaker's successes were inspirational. We came away feeling validated with important tips and ideas for personal development, and certainly empowered. The quality, the format of the day, the choice of speakers and food were all excellent. So that was obviously a face-to-face conference. Another one said, I have been a postdoc for over 15 years and found it difficult to move on to becoming an academic lecturer. Therefore, the talk on how to get out of a slump and put bad experiences behind me has motivated me to try and get an academic position. Okay, just two more. It was really hard choosing these to share. It did something psychologically to be in a room filled with intelligent, encouraging, and dedicated BME academics. The earlier BME students can experience this, the better. Hands down, I think that was last year. And this one, no two guesses who this is. I was losing all hope and thought academia was not for me. But speaking with various speakers, specifically Professor Marcia Wilson, my mentor, and her provided me with the opportunities. I am now a senior lecturer in biomedical science at UWL. Finally, I am in my dream job. Marcia understood my plight. She said, Bernadine, come and see me. Then, through people knowing about me, I got into the University of West London, speaking to a Professor Anthony Woodman. He only had to hear what I had to say. I had been waiting 10 years to get here. I'm not complaining about waiting 10 years, but for me, it's the skills, the people I have met to get to where I am. I am finally in my dream job. Thank you to every single person that's helped me along the way. So if I want to summarize the impact and testimonies, so the conference is needed. It's needed, it's needed, it's needed. We have approximately 200 people in attendance globally. Okay, this online thing has made us go global. And there has been 200 people on the waiting list. It's important because we need to meet and hear other people's lived experiences. We are not alone. I am not alone. We need to network. Mentoring is powerful. Sponsorship is powerful. I've explained how Prof. Marcia, Prof. Fumi, Prof. Anthony Woodman, so many profs that have just helped me along the way. Prof. Sir Ed Byrne, you know, people have listened to what I've said and helped me and are mentoring me. Professor Martin Birchall, and we need to look after our well-being. It's critical. There is support available. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And I'm proud to say this conference, I started off understanding what postdoctoral researchers need, and I'm amazed. I don't know everybody, but I see sometimes on people's LinkedIn that they have made that transition, and now they are lecturers, and now people are being promoted. What else can I say? Now, need to move on. What to expect today? Oops, sorry. We're going to have the opening address from Professor Tim Blackman, who had the fortunate pleasure of meeting earlier this week. Lovely meeting you. Keynote speaker from Professor Gus. We have our panelists, facilitated by Lorraine Jones from University of East London, Dr. Winston Morgan from University of West London, Dr. Amara Chukwu-Anyogu, University of Westminster, currently at the University of Westminster, Dr. Deanne Bell, Nottingham Trent University, Dr. Anthony Gunter, Open University, and Professor Layton, University of West London. Then, please stay with us till the afternoon. What to expect? A keynote speaker, Professor Fumi Olani-Shakin, Vice Principal, President, International King's College London. Then we have a series of workshops. So they're going to be after each other, sequential, not parallel, because I want you all to hear something. And, you know, I know it's not enough, but for me, it's just bringing to you the people that are out there doing their job. And it's up to you to reach out like I did and speak to these people because they're there to help us. So the first one, well-being, Dr. Jenny Douglas, mentorship, and Hey, developing applications and resilience, IO, and workshop 4, leading in spaces that aren't designed with you in mind. Okay, and finally, closing remarks by amazing Professor Marcia Wilson, and networking, which will be virtual networking. And please, 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 once again, do not forget to fill in your questionnaires. The link is at the back of the program. It is what helps shape future conferences. Thank you very much. And lastly, my speakers and facilitators, delegates, without you, there will be no conference. Thank you for all the messages you all wonderful people have sent to me, but there's 3 people I've got to thank, and there's so many people I've got to thank, but please bear with me. Please forgive me for those that I should be on the screen, but it's not. So Dr. Donald Palmer. Now, I have to mention him because in 2017, when we did the very first conference, we finished around 4, and then we stayed in the hall, great hall, for about 2 hours, and we were talking, and he said to me, Bernadine, you've started a revolution. You cannot stop now. And when I heard those words, just went through to my soul, and I just knew I had to continue. Heidi. Speechless, literally. My goodness. I just don't know what to say, but thank you, Heidi. Prof, my goodness. I've explained our journey. Thank you very, very much, Prof. So we're going to have follow-up training. Please look at the back of your conferences. And regarding the follow-up training, if you sign up and you don't attend and you don't let us know, there is a £50 cancellation fee because King's College London is paying fistral for these 4 follow-up training. So please, please do attend. Lastly, I promised you something at the end. Our 6th BME Early Career Researcher Conference. The title is, stole it from Prof. Marcia, Making the Invisible Visible, to be hosted by UWL and King's on Thursday, the 7th of July, 2022 at face-to-face UWL Ealing campus. And our Professor Anthony Woodman is on the line and he's going to say a few words. Over to you.
Bernadine, thank you so much. What more can I say? Look, Bernadine's one of our absolutely outstanding members of staff here at the University of West London, and you've been working with her. Most of you joining today have known her for some period of time. She is an absolute great force, and therefore it's a real privilege that the University of West London can co-host today. And once I hope we're back to a far more closer to normal, be able to host the online or in face-to-face, next year, which I know will be an amazing event. But I just want to say how critically important this event is. University of West London is about talent. That's all I'm interested in, talent. But actually, I recognise that in itself, that isn't enough because of the inequalities in allowing talent to shine through. So as a university, I'm proud that actually the stats, the awful stats, and I'm going to say it, those awful stats about the lack of opportunity for our BAME talent to come through into the sector is not acceptable. I'm glad we are slightly better. Therefore, we have probably around 30% of our colleagues represent, and I'm very, very proud of what we've done with our professoriate being closer to 20%, but that's still not good enough. And without you guys who are here today coming along, coming in as early career researchers, we're not going to have that talent pool to help us. So Bernadine, that's why today is so important. I'm so delighted and proud that University of West London has you as part of our body, but also that we can help support you in this tremendous and so important activity that you're doing. So best of luck. I know everybody's going to have a great day, but thanks for making sure that UWO is part of this brilliant revolution, as you put it.